let me put it this way to you. Do you think this country, at this time, needs something that it hasn't got?
Yes.
What does it need?
Love. The whole people have to know each other, you know?
Are you a part of the love generation?
Yes.
Do you love me?
Yes, I love everybody.
Is it possible to love everybody?
Yes.
How come? How come people haven't loved everybody for 2,000 years?
Because they've been fixed up.
Every situation in life is an opportunity to choose.
Every sane society allows a certain number of people to deviate. It says you don't have to join. You don't have to play the game. The only thing that could be bad is to take it too seriously. If you take the fundamental idea that the whole universe, all its forms, all the forms of biology, all the different species, everything is a form of biological game. It's a dancing thing going on, different styles. And we wouldn't want to say to any of those things, you shouldn't happen. Because they're all the great Maya, the great illusion, the great play.
I was thinking about how we're all one energy, right? We're all one energy.
Hello, wake up. Do you know who you really are? Hello, wake up. Do you understand? Here's the message we've come to share. You and I are one. There's only one of us in the room. If you think that we're separate, cut it out. We're not separate. There's only one of us in the room.
We're all this one energy expressing itself in every way possible. We are having the human experience. And we are coexisting on this planet, each one of us coexisting with the other. We are the endless varieties of what existence can be. Each one of us being our own unique perspective, having our own unique beliefs and opinions. I view contrast and variety of life to be beautiful, endless amounts of options. Every situation is the option to choose, whether you prefer or don't prefer. So this led me to believe that we are all coexisting. So how could we all coexist more happily? And then I was thinking about how there are so many times I've seen people interact with each other on a person-to-person intimate basis and on a worldwide global basis. And when they interact, they have conflict and anger because they don't agree on different beliefs. Look at the war that's going on in this world. There are different sets of people that both hold different beliefs, and they are arguing and battling each other over this. They are literally killing each other over beliefs. One group says one thing is true, another group says another thing is true, and they go at it. I'm going to propose that every single expression, every single belief that exists is valid, just based on the fact that it is part of existence. Now, that doesn't mean that you have to choose that belief or you have to condone that belief. It just means that it is a valid option that you could choose if you wanted to believe in that. So, viewing each belief as a valid option, not one you have to take, kind of is making peace with the fact that we are all different perspectives. We're all one, but we are all versions of the one expressing itself in every way possible so that we can have every experience possible. All truths are true to somebody. Truth, right and wrong, good and bad, that's all perceptual. It depends on the person. One of my favorite quotes in life is, the greatest gift existence ever gave us is that life is meaningless. Now, that doesn't mean that life has no meaning. What it means is everything is neutral until we attach the meaning to it. So you get to decide if you're going to attach a positive meaning to something or a negative meaning to it. You get to decide what you take from that. So if you meet another person that has a different belief than you don't have to take their belief on as your own. You don't have to condone it. Just view it as a positive if you can, and if you can't, just walk away from it. There's no need to battle over beliefs.
A society which is insane and unsure of itself. It says everybody must join. Everybody must belong. And then freedom disappears.
If you went to someone's house and they were cooking food and then they offered you a plate, would you throw it back in their face and get angry at them for offering it to you? Or would you just say no thank you? The same goes for if someone offers you a belief. If someone comes up to you and offers you their belief, it's because it's what they believe in and they're offering it to you. You don't have to get angry and throw it back in their face. You can simply say, no thank you, just like you would the plate of food. And in the other hand, if someone comes over to your house and you are cooking and you offer them a plate and they say no thank you, are you going to force feed them that food? So if you meet someone and their belief is different from yours, are you going to try to force feed them that belief of yours and change their mind? Or can you just say it's okay for us to be different? Is it okay for us to be different? I really do believe that peace and harmony will be gained through embracing our differences and acknowledging them all to be valid within existence because they exist, rather than trying to force everyone to believe the same things. So, my hope for everyone in this world, in existence, is that they could look at one another and be okay with the differences. I would prefer if everybody could feel good, because we are having the human experience, and that is going to involve contrast, which is a good thing. It helps us decide what we like and what we don't like. It helps us pick and choose what we want in our story of life. And anger and negative emotion is not a bad thing. Anger is not a bad thing. It's not a bad emotion. It's just an emotion. And if you release it in a good feeling way, in the best feeling way possible, and let it go, you'll have a different effect on your life experience than if you release it in an explosive, destructive, angry way. It's up to you. It all boils down to choosing what feels best to you. If you choose what feels best to you emotionally, you are going to then have happier, more fulfilling life experiences. If you focus on things that you don't prefer and you stay within that negative, angry feeling, you're going to have more experiences that match that. Every situation in life is an opportunity to choose. So, what I propose is choose what feels best to you. Don't worry about what other people's beliefs are. Take from their story what you want and leave the rest for someone else who may want it. I really like this analogy. Life is like a buffet of beliefs. If you walked up to a food buffet and there was a food item you didn't like, would you demand they remove it from the buffet right now? Or would you just say, let me leave that for someone else who may prefer it? And move on and fill your plate with things you do like? Or would you stand there staring at this item you don't like, just frozen in anger? That's how you can look at beliefs. If you see a belief you don't like, what is the best feeling reaction that will be the best for you? Would it feel best to you? Would it provoke more happiness to you to argue over it? Or would it provoke more happiness out of you to just say it's a valid option, but not one I prefer? And the reason it's a valid option is because it exists. Everything in existence is just an opportunity to choose.
And so the polis, the human community, organized with division of labor, with classes, with all the complications of economics and banking and transportation and so on and so on and so on. All this is a particular kind of play. And each form of it is as legitimate as, say, different kinds of dancing, a waltz, a rumba, a foxtrot, a frug, all are perfectly legitimate forms of dancing. So the universe does this. But the important thing to understand, what the sannyasin, the shramana, the man who goes outside the pale, is saying is, please, people who are in the pale, my existence reminds you that you're only playing. Don't take it too seriously. Because if you take it too seriously, you're going to start destroying each other and fighting and saying this city against that city, this country against that country, so on, because you're too involved. So every sane society allows a certain number of people to deviate. Monks, some sort of outsiders. It says you don't have to join, you don't have to play the game. A society which is insane and unsure of itself cannot allow that to happen. It says everybody must join, everybody must work, everybody must belong. And then freedom disappears. Because as a matter of fact, the anxiety is if you say, well, you don't have to join, there are conditions under which you can go out, then a lot of people get together and say, well, what would happen if everybody quit? I mean, and they won't anyhow. Because a lot of people aren't interested in that, are not ready to quit. That doesn't mean that they're inferior. The acorn is not inferior to the oak tree. It's a potential oak, but as an acorn, it's just as beautiful and lovely a thing as a full-grown oak is. A baby is as lovely as an adult, sometimes a great deal more lovely. So a person who is in a beginning state of evolution is just as marvelous as a person in a high state of evolution. Just as much a manifestation of the divine dance.
Hit me up in the comments if you want to. If you want me to elaborate on this topic more, let me know. I just really wanted to talk about it because so many times in this world, on a person-to-person basis, I view people having confrontations and conflicts over different beliefs. And on a global basis, I see it happening in war. People are arguing over whose belief is right and whose belief is wrong. Instead of arguing over who's right and wrong, or whose belief is more true, could we just say that your belief is true to you, and my belief is true to me? It's okay that we believe different. Let me know what you think, and I'm sending you all good vibes and love always.